Hi, my name is Jill Niebuhr. I am Angel Warrior. This is the first late night video I have done so far for this channel. I'm being led to do it right now in my plaid winter cuddly thing. Actually I was kind of surprised. My sister texted me and it was 11:11. And I was like, how did it get so late already? But it's a new moon today, and I have huge changes coming up in my life. Just the energy is so powerful that's coming towards me right now that it's, whoo, it's a big change for me right now. And I don't even know what all the details are. I just know that there are very, very huge things coming my way right now. I'm being called right now to do this message tonight on what influencers are scared of. And I got this idea from this idea of validation or no validation, and how that's taking place in our cultural misconceptions in our world today. And I am working on my ums right now. I noticed on one of my videos I have some ums in there. I'm going to work on that. I really like the bloopers in here. I don't know about you, but I really like the bloopers in here. If you were talking to me in person, there would be no editing going on there either. There are cultural hiccups happening from people's understanding that they gap certain areas. And I know that there is an ability for a lot of people to be able to discern truth from fiction. And that's a normal thing. There's nothing wrong with you if you can't do that. There's nothing wrong if you get misled. Today, if you're an information person and you're not so interested in experience, you are going to be misled. I've been in a journey the last year where I've had to discover things, spiritual things, and deep spiritual love connection type things, and I have had to weed out false information from true information over and over. And I'll let you know how I do that, and it might maybe help you and maybe it won't. But I have been refining myself for a really, really long time on truth and fiction in real life. And what I have had to do to learn was go down the false rabbit hole and allow other people's information to consume me to the point where finally I got strong enough to see that I had known all along, and my self-confidence started building. And the more it built, the more it was very easy for me to discern what was false from what was real. And I am so strong on it now that I am aided in these discoveries. And if you put some information in front of me and ask me if it's true or not, and I can say yes or no, and you can say why, and I can answer that question. If it's no. If it's no, I can tell you why not. There is a fallacy in there. So, I think that's a way of my body processing information that is new to me in the sense of just talking is why those ums are coming up. But I am aware that it's happening now, and I don't want to continue doing that for too much longer. So you go on social media, and I do this. I look for people who are validated. Not for a purpose. I look and see what kind of reactions people are getting. So something I learned quite a while back was that if someone is truly stepping into their path and their power, they are going to seek, well, I'll say what happens with me, and I'll say what I've seen in others too, that aren't just doing it for the likes and the validation. There's a big difference here. There's a big difference between making a name for yourself and being respected amongst your family and friends. And I'm thinking of one thing in particular. This one girl that I follow has a big social media presence, and on her personal page, she doesn't have a lot of activity. And I remember thinking, actually, this was some time ago. I remember thinking, why doesn't anyone in her community like her pictures? She's awesome, right? She's awesome. And actually, it's funny because now I am at that level, and I've had people say that to me, and they don't understand because they haven't went through it yet. So what has happened with me is, my personal page used to be very, very exhausting for me to put anything up because there was so much energy around it, and I had a sense of disillusionment over what was happening. And I'll tell you an example. I would have a lot of energy from, whatever, and also I couldn't clearly state points without someone just kind of randomly saying something about it, and it was a dirty feeling. It was a dirty feeling to share my personal, and what I mean by personal is different levels of personal, but my day-to-day life, my dog photos, or just something that I'm not doing that's around my brand or my music or whatever. And it didn't make me feel good. It didn't make me feel good to have all of that responsibility, I guess, to manage things in my personal life that depleted my energy. So I had a goal, and my goal was to teach people in my personal community to honor themselves and to just do what their heart told them, and not to be so concerned about filling me up and everything. And they respected that. And I did do a lot of clearing out of my personal page just because, and it wasn't a personal relationship. It wasn't a judgment on that person. It was that I chose to have people in that network that I could be honest with in return. And let me tell you what that means. In order to truly meet someone, you have to have that level of authenticity on some level. I mean, we don't need to expect perfection from anyone, but on some level, you need to be able to say what you're feeling and feel like that person, you're being heard. And that doesn't mean that they like your posts. It means that you are being honored, you are in their circle, and they are paying attention. And so that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted, is that ability to not feel like I said something and someone wants to twist it, or someone wants to fluff me up, or I wanted I wanted that grounded area, and I think that's very special. And I've had to go through a lot of inner work to be comfortable with those decisions, because I do get to those days where it's like, this is so good, everyone should be liking it, but that isn't my point in doing it, and that's my ego, and I have to keep reminding myself that my intention is to have something stable, steady, and beautiful, not exhausting, energy depleting, and hyped up. Because you know what? I do get enough of that in my life. And I do like it. I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I do really, really like attention, and I like to be appreciated for my beauty and my wonder and all that great stuff. But I also have a very down-to-earth part of me that just likes to have things flow in and out and not be a big deal, And since I've been on my path for a really long time, my career path to, music performer, I had always planned on having that in my life. For whatever it evolves into, it is extremely important to me to have people that are grounded with me, and that I can even expect to be practical. I really am a big dreamer, and I'm a big thinker, but I do like that energy around me, because it's safety, it's security, it's comfort, and it's stability. And those are the relationships that really, really matter when you have a lot of hype around you. How this plays out with a lot of other famous people is they will lose their way because they don't have that good foundation. People will tell them, oh, this is a great idea, just because of something that will make them look good, and it's not true to them, and no one will listen to them, and no one understands, and you've got a big problem. You've got someone who is living a life that makes them miserable, and they don't want to do what they do anymore. And they don't feel appreciated for their heart. They feel appreciated for, their name. So, going back to this idea that influencers need social media energy, that's true. We do. They do. But that does not mean that all of those situations are alike. And that does not mean that certain people are or aren't leading their flock to a good place. And what that can mean is the quality won't necessarily match the energy. And there's a formula that can be fed to the public that will receive energy based off of what is normal, what is acceptable, and what feeds into people's insecurities and negative feelings and distortions. So someone could perceivably be filling you up, but in actuality, they're feeding your beast. And I'm thinking right now of a page I like, and I'm going to see if I can twist this energy of this page into this topic, because the energy of this page is and this is different than what I'm talking about. It's perceivably feeding the beast. But what I've been taking a closer look at what this guy's posts do. And it's very strange because, you know, the title would even tell you that I'm feeding your beast. And actually what he does in a lot of his posts is talks about like how, I'm trying to think of what a couple of the last posts that I saw said. It was about America, and it was about how, well, maybe not America, but just cultural, and how people are reacting in a certain way, and how, you know, this could be said of it, but it was funny. It was funny. So what he was doing is like, he isn't actually feeding the beast. He's feeding truth through comedy and through this really hard shell. And I laugh at almost everything he posts because it's so right on, and he makes it funny, and he's very but it still feeds a lot of energy. And the very interesting thing about it is that a lot of people don't really get that that's happening. And if I look at the comments, people do not understand the core of what is being said. And so what you have on these platforms is the ability of these influencers to sway people to think that they are influencing you, when really you are not getting inspired, you are not moving forward with their help, you are not being challenged to grow. You know, growth is what every leader does for a person. They will teach you to think for yourself. They will teach you that it does not matter how people react. It matters the results. It matters the quality. It matters the foundation. And so be aware. Be aware of who you're following. Take a look. Are you getting better from these influencers? Or what I see a lot of times is people teach people formulas. They will tell you, I can teach you this and this and this, and actually they might have learned it, but they haven't learned how to teach it, or they might not be able to. There's so many problems with 85 to 98% of the programs that they sell right now, that people do not have the leverage to efficiently give people what they are saying that they give. And yeah, it's a huge problem, something to be aware of. And I guess it was really important that I say this message tonight. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.